Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome once again to grecochess, the YouTube channel where we discuss the game of chess. And in this video, we'll continue facing the chess.com bots. But let me first share the screen with you to see exactly what is happening. When we started the series a few months ago, we first faced all the beginner bots, starting from poor Martin here, and going all the way to Karim. Defeated all of them twice, once with white and once with black pieces, no draws or losses, and then continued the intermediate. First row, all of them here from Maria until Sven, same story. Defeated all of them twice, once with white and once with black, no draws or losses. And then we went to Emir from Turkey, defeated with white pieces, lost from black, and then the series was ended. After a few months, we started a new series continuing where we stopped before. Finally, on the third attempt, defeated Emir with the black pieces. Then continued with the next boss in the series. Eventually defeated all of them twice, once white and once with black. But occasionally we had a few draws and losses. The most recent one was against David from Peru. And once we eliminated David, it's time now for the next one, Ali from Indonesia. And I'm going in this video to face Ali from Indonesia. The rating of Ali is 1400, as you see here. Ali and Matteo are the last ones remaining from the intermediate before we continue to the advanced. In this video, I'm facing Ali with the white pieces, and I'm going to discuss as we go on, then we'll see what happened in the end. And I'm starting with my e-pawn as usual. I know e4 well, says Ali, and let's see how well you know it. Sicilian defense. I'll play the standard way with the knight to f3, the open Sicilian. Knight goes to c6, and I'll play a little bit standard. Pawn goes to d4. I don't want anything outrageous. Take it, we take back the pawn. And Ali does not take back, does not take the knight. Of course, it's protected by the queen, so don't have to worry about it, but I have to worry about my e4 pawn. That's why knight goes to c3. And Ali attacks it with the e pawn to e5. Many players would place their knight on f5, especially since not attacked by the bishop, but if the deep pawn moves, then of course I lose the knight, I take it back with my e4 pawn, but if I double my f pawns, I don't want anything like that to happen, and why not just exchange the knights? Develop my bishop, go to d3, and also extra protects the pawn, so don't have to worry about the knight that now pinned. Stop the pin, but still, if Alec changes on c3, fortunately I have my bishop on d3 to protect my e4 pawn. Ali is pushing. And do I win a pawn? Let's give a look. Am I winning the e5 pawn? Not so easy. And let's castle now because my g2 pawn is threatened. And let's attack now. Can we easily... No, the problem is what if the knight goes to g4 and threatens mate on h2? No, let's stop it. Let's threaten the pawn on e5 if we can win it. But Ali does not want to do it. I'm going to take the... If I take the knight on f6... I weaken a little bit the e4 pawn, but then I open the line on for the rook to go to g8. That's why let's see if we can exchange the queens now. Here is a catch. I have to worry about my queen on d1 because attacked by the rook. let's threaten the queen. Do we have enough firepower? No, take c. Take. Then I lose my queen. No, queen goes to c1. Let's exchange queens like that if we can. No. So Ali doesn't want to exchange queens. Let's exchange rooks. I don't like the rook on d8. Yep, rooks were exchanged. Good. Ali is attacking. Ooh, look at that. He's threatened. He took the h3 pawn and threatening mate on g2, which I'm going to stop for now. So Ali is 1 pawn ahead. Now I'm 1 pawn ahead because I got the bishop for 2 pawns. Pawn to a6. What do I need to do? Let's start attacking the pawn at e4. Don't have yet enough firepower. I'm going to exchange the queens, yes. And I'm going to win the pawn on e4. Things start becoming better because Ali had a very strong attack at some point. Pawn gives away the knight. These boats can start very nicely, but after a while, things go bad. Let's threaten the pawn on g7. We win it. Now, now we're going to win 1 extra pawn. Yes, the h7 pawn. Ali really played well up to a point, but then things started really going bad. Let's see if we can win the f7 pawn. That is pinned and cannot take my bishop. Yes, we got it. What else can we do now? First of all, I don't want my rook to be attacked by the king, even though it temporarily it's protected by the bishop, because this means that if the bishop has to move for any reason, we lost it. Now, what can we do? In fact, now the game is winning after poor little Ali blundered. Check again, see how many times we can check. Threaten the pawn on c6. Ali replies the check. I defend the check. Let's win the pawn on c6. Ali wants to check and perhaps threaten my rook, but I'm going to save my rook. Ali would like to take my bishop if the king moves. Let's check from here, from d7. Do not threaten the pawn on a6, not yet, because protected by the rook. I wish I could put my bishop on h5 to have the pin, but not yet. Let's check and see what's going to happen. Well, we don't check for the sake of check, but to constrain black. Bishop goes to b4. My bishop has to go somewhere safe. Which is the safest part? Let's try for g4. I should have seen it. The rook attacks the 2 bishops, but fortunately we have a way out of that. Bishop goes to a5. In fact, I could do if we cover with the rook, but this is much better. Let's check with my rook from e3. So long as I check, I don't have to worry about my bishops. Now I have to worry about this bishop here, but let's use it to attack the pawn on a6. Now okay, let's check here, and then we'll have to start pushing the pawns. You cannot just check forever. Hoping that no. Let's start pushing the a pawn. I hope I can get the a6 pawn, because then it's going to be so much easier to advance my a pawn. Got it. Now all I need to do is advance my a pawn. Let's also start advancing the c pawn. I can push the a pawn a little bit more. And the c pawn with the discover check. There is no stalemate, I hope. Nope, almost. King can go to b6. King to b5, yes. You can take my... Oh, if you take... Okay, don't want to lose any material unnecessarily. Let's start moving my king. Here we have to be careful a little bit. Okay, I'm going to... Oh, no. King protects bishop. Okay, we'll constrain the king in 7th and 8th rank. We constrain king on the 8th rank, and now we'd better be careful, no stalemate. 3 more moves until the a-pawn promotes. Can Ali stop it? Nope. And finally, we win the game. So we defeated Ali with the white pieces. Ali had a very dangerous attack until he allowed to exchange queens. And this shows that if you are on the attacking side, especially since he had sacrificed his bishop for that, although it was for 2 pawns, then don't exchange queens. Try not to exchange materials, especially the one that you need for your attack. Because once queens were exchanged, I was out of danger, and with the extra material, I was able to win the game. And let's do the review now. Let's see what does Top 316 think about this game. 89.3% for me, 81.4 for Ali. And I played as if my rating was 2150 and Ali's 1400, exactly his rating. No brilliancies, but I had 2 great moves. Book 6 each of us. Best 22 versus 18 for me. Excellent 25 each of us. Good 5 for me, 2 for Ali. Inaccuracies 4 for Ali. Mistakes 1 for me, 2 for Ali. Misses 2 for me, 1 for Ali. And Ali had a blunder. Let's go and give a look at the details of the game. Let's go move by move. Until now, we're following theory, the Sicilian defense, the so-called Sicilian. Now, we deviate from this book after this first 6 moves. Computer thinks that my bishop to d3 was just a good move. Would rather have the queen to go to f3. Now, here is a potential problem because if Ali first moves the d pawn, the d7 pawn from d6 to d5 and then places the bishop on g4, my queen will have to fight to find the safe square. Will be attacked by the bishop that is supported by the knight on f6. And then, even after the queen goes to safety, Ali has taken control of an important diagonal. That's why I would rather have the bishop. Also, defend the pawn. Also, you want to use the minimum force to protect your pieces and your pawns, not the whole queen just for a pawn. The problem here is that, exactly as Ali would do later, bishop goes to b4, and an excellent move for the computer because the knight on c3 cannot protect the pawn at e4, it's pinned. I don't understand why the computer would rather have the bishop go to d6 because then it blocks the pawn on d7. Yes, protects the e5, but blocks it. You don't want this thing. Knight to d2 to stop the pin. Computer would rather have me do castle in castle king side, but the problem with that is that Ali can double my pawns on the c file. Not only doubling, they are isolated double pawns. You don't want to have them. But now look at that. Now instead of doubling my pawns, I win Ali's bishop and I have the 2 bishop advantage using my own bishop on c3 that is on the long diagonal from a1 to h8, the ideal diagonals for bishops. Ali decides to start an attack. Inaccuracy is the computer. I take, yes. Ali takes. castling, yes, to protect my pawn at g2, because not only the g2 pawn, but if this goes away, my rook on h1 is hanging. I cannot castle. I have to put my rook on f1, lose my h2 pawn. There's a lot of things happen in addition to the g2 pawn. But now I stop it. Mistake. This is a miss. How could they win the pawn? If rook goes to, yes, to e1, I was planning to do it, but I was afraid of bishop on g4 attacking my queen, and if I push my pawn, queen can go to c5 check. I want to avoid these things. But sometimes you may want to avoid things that seem scary, but they're not so scary as they look. Miss. Now I have to be careful. Rook to e1, excellent. The problem is that if the queen leaves the d file, my queen is attacked by the rook, and my bishop on d3 is pinned. And especially with the pawn going here, yes, computer would rather have me take the knight on f6. The reason I avoided it is because once Ali takes back, then the rook from h8 can go to g8, and look at that, the queen on d5, the rook on g8, my king could be in trouble. My queen goes to c1, great move, because I want to two things: to first of all have my queen get out of the d file so it's not attacked by the d8 rook any longer, and second, I want to exchange queens since the Ali's attack depends on the queen. Materially we're the same, but Ali has a potentially dangerous attack. Of course, computer says I'm 1.2 ahead, but only assuming I play perfectly. Yes, Ali saves the queen, good for him. My rook goes to d1, it's a mistake. And computer is right. You'll see the pawn that I lost. What I wanted to do is exchange as much material as possible because I saw Ali having a dangerous attack. It may not be perfect in the sense that if I play perfectly, I'll be ahead, but it's dangerous in the sense that I need to be very accurate. One mistake and that's it. Ali exchanges queens, okay, and takes the pawn on h3. At this point, Ali equalizes again. Not only that, equalizes, meaning as if we both play perfectly, the game is even, but also threatens checkmate on g2. How many ways do I have to stop it? Not too many. Uh, if I send my king to f1, for example, because anywhere else the king is mated, queen goes to g2 check, king goes to e1, and then early castles can place a rook on d8. Things are very dangerous. What else can I do? If I place my bishop on f3, clearly I lose it from the pawn on e4. So I played the only move that would save me, and the computer says it is a great bishop to f1. And now Ali really makes a blunder. Exchanges on takes the pawn on g2. All Ali had to do is wait because my pawn on g2 is still pinned. And even if there was no pin, if my king was in h1, for example, Ali could just withdraw the bishop. No reason to lose it. And now things become great. From 0.0, I'm ahead by 2.8. Uh, that happens with many players at the lower level. I don't think at 1400 any longer. I wish my 1400 opponents were as weak as Ali, because Ali played okay for the first 10, 15 moves, but after I had a dangerous attack and I was able to defend, at least temporarily, Ali makes a blunder. But with lower rated players, less than 1,000, they may reach very good positions and then suddenly make one big mistake and that's it. So for Ali, that was it. Still, I have Ali has two pawns, my bishop. Not only that, my king on g1 is exposed. My bishop on g2 is pinned. There's no pawn on the G on H file. So what Ali would have to do now is start pushing the H pawn, H5, H4, H3. And even if I stop it somehow, then at least the rook on H8 could be in the game. Ali does a big mistake because she plays on the other side of the board. Why send the pawn from a7 to a6? What does Ali have to gain out of that? Nothing. And if you want, no, I wouldn't say push to a5, you lose it from bishop, but Ali just wastes the move. My queen goes to e2. I'm attacking the pawn on e4 still. I'm attacking with two forces, queen e2, bishop g2, defended two forces, knight f6, forces, I'm sorry, knight f6, queen g6. So for the time being, the pawn on e4 is safe. Oh, sorry, we went a little bit too fast. And Ali places the queen on g4. I didn't even threaten myself the exchange. Ali gave me the queen exchanges on a silver plate, as I say, for free. Why? I have no idea why. Because Ali's hope was to use the queen on g6 to attack my bishop on g2 to pin it and potentially place perhaps a rook. I'm not sure if kingside castling as a computer shows would be ideal. If it was me, I would push the h pawn from h7 to h5 to have the rook start attacking from the h file, potentially attack the bishop. Of course, white has many ways to stop it, but white will waste a move trying to stop the pawn from reaching a3 and threatening mate once again. In the meantime, the rook from h8 could go to h5, h4, somewhere like that, and make Ali's attack much more dangerous. Of course, kingside castling, as the computer suggests, has merit because rook goes to e8 and d8, and rook will enter the attack from the d file. That, for the time being, is open. And of course, exchange queens, not just to win a pawn. This is a way to win a pawn. I mean the e4 because now after the exchange I'll take it. But also more important than that is to stop Ali's attack. It was less dangerous than before, but it still has not evaporated. But now it's over. Now I take the pawn. My advantage becomes 5 pawn 2, as you see here, 529. And from now on, it is very easy. As if that, I'm not sure why this is an excellent move. Because Ali just gave me the knight for free. What would have been the best move? Yes, move the king to e7 and then have the rook from h8 enter the game. I think that was a big mistake. Computer wants me to win the pawn on c6, but I think a knight is better than the pawn. Yes, it goes with the check, so I could win both the pawn and the knight. Now I start attacking as much as possible. I'm not sure if I followed the fastest way to win. I wanted to make sure I'm not messing up anything. Another mistake for Ali. Ali had better place his rook on f8 at least to stop me winning the f7 pawn. Excellent moves. I mean, okay, the difference between the excellent. Yes, I could have placed my rook on f6 because there is a bishop on c3 that protects it. And I have moves that I hope are at least excellent. I don't. Yes, at least excellent. Some of them are the best. But now it is basically the game is over. I don't need the best of the best moves to win every game. To win the entire game. Excellent moves are good enough. Some of them are really the best, as you see here. You start pushing the a pawn because by checking, I cannot win the game. Checking alone, I cannot checkmate. I missed a chance. That was a really mistake because I had the discover check, and if you have a discover check, you put your rook on h7 to win the rook on h2. I missed it. At least I got the a6 pawn. My mind was on my a pawn, how to liberate it, to promote, but I could have won much easier. And now, say that this move was forced. I'm not sure why they say it was forced. Yes, the king on a6 has nowhere to go. So if it was not for the rook on g2, it would have been a stalemate. But the rook can go to any other square. Why do they say that going to e2 was forced? In fact, Ali could have tried the stalemate track. For example, put his rook on g7. Once it's going there, if I take the rook, it's a stalemate. And then no matter where I place the rook, Ali could follow it, hoping we could exchange. No, if it leaves the seventh rank, it's not stalemate any longer. But at least Ali could have tried the attempt, see if I would fall for that. Instead, he takes the bishop. That was the only move. No, it was not forced, I think. I win it. Unfortunately, there is the b5 square. One needs to be extremely careful in a real game. One can end up in stalemate. And you saw it in the previous series. We got with one player 2 times stalemate out of completely winning positions. From now on, it just pushes my pawns to promotion. Constraining the king. You don't want to unnecessarily check the king. You want to constrain the king in as small part of the board as possible. And from now on, clearly, you see the M. Let's see, where did the M start? You didn't notice the variation because, no, this was the last non-M move. After king went to b6, I had made in 15 moves. How many moves did I need? I needed 13 moves, and this is not because I was a genius, but because Ali didn't play perfectly. M14, M9, M9. You would need about 11 moves. Made M9, M15, going back to 15 from M9. But I wanted not to sacrifice material unnecessarily and not so much to find the fastest way to mate. And 12, 5, 5 now, from now on to M8. So if I push the pawns as a computer, but if I push the pawn, the king can hide on b6. That's why I didn't do it. And now it is M3, M4. From now on, I think it is M3, M2, 1, and win the game. That's it as far as this game is concerned. We defeated Ali. In the next video, assuming nothing unexpected happens, and unexpected, I mean either we have a game in grecochess ending, or I reach a milestone in my own uh, online games, or something really noteworthy happens. Or any of you, if you ask me to present one of your own games, something else that can happen. We'll continue facing Ali with the black pieces, and then it is Matteo the last to complete with the intermediate boards. Ladies and gentlemen, that was Ali with the white pieces, defeated, I would say, quite easily. And a few lessons to learn from all of us. If you sacrifice material to attack, make sure you don't exchange queens, unless, of course, you have a mating combination. But in general, don't exchange the queens when you attack. When you're on the defense, especially if your opponent has sacrificed material, yes, exchange queens and go on to a winning ending. That is one of the lessons we learned. This is the Greco Chess YouTube channel. I'm Harry Lausanizir, your host. Thanks to all the viewers, subscribers, the likes, and the comments. But for now, it's goodbye.